Yo, yo, yo! What's up, everybody? Oh, it's just Luke here checking in from my kindergarten here in Wenling, China, where I'll be teaching for the next 4 months. Pretty excited about it. First off, I just wanted to apologize on the slight delay for not really posting in my blog for the last week or so. Here in China, they have what is known as the Great Firewall. It's where the government blocks every social networking, video sharing, and blog website, which just is to maintain a very powerful internet filtration system. It's to keep the Chinese citizens from the freedom of almost any type of idea or word of mouth there is in the rest of the world. Most of you already know how information is spread about any and everything through the internet, and due to China having such a intense communism party, they keep everyone in what I would refer to as a little tight-knit bubble. As previously mentioned in my last post, our China Horizons group spent about 6 days in Beijing, which is the largest capital city in the world and the largest country in the world, with about 1.6 billion people in all of China, and about 19 billion in Beijing. Yeah, it was here where we toured the city and explored a lot of its main tourist attractions and cultural destinations. In order to keep this here blog organized, I'm just going to go explaining each of the stops we did, and then I'll post pictures and other videos about it later so you can kind of get a feel for it and all that cool stuff. But first, I just wanted to give you some background information on China itself. Their currency is called the renminbi, or the yuan. It's spelled Y-U-A-N, but pronounced UN like the organization. So every US dollar is worth about 6.5 yuan.
Yo, cash money. You see, this is the big deals. I'm a baller over here in China. Check that out.
Stuff in China is it's way cheaper than it is in the United States. So for example, a bottle of water is anywhere from 2 yuan to 3 yuan, depending on how big it is. A soda is about 3 to 4 yuan. You can get a simple meal from anywhere between 5 to 15 yuan on the street, and if you go to a restaurant, you're paying maximum of 50, which is very, very cheap if you convert that. It's like anywhere from 50 cents to a soda or a water to $5 for a meal. Also, it's super, super dirty here in China. The streets are just, compared to the United States, they're just gross. People will literally use the restroom wherever they so please. They have to go, but this is mostly just the children and toddlers. And people just throw their wrappers and trash on the ground. Toilets here are what they call squatters, which is basically just a hole in the ground. Nowhere you go will have toilet paper, so you must carry your own with you, and you cannot flush it in the drains. Their drain system here isn't engineered to hold toilet paper or digest it or dissolve it anyway, so it'll back it up. So you just can't flush it in the drains, and instead you gotta fold it on up and throw it in a trash can. It's pretty gross. That's just what you gotta do. All the toddlers, like I said before, they just go to the restroom wherever they want. And it's funny because they will wear pants with a slit in the butt for like easy access to use the restroom, and they'll go anywhere in public. We're at this park across the street from our hostel, and this little girl is just lifting up her dress, moving stuff around, and I'm just like, this girl's got to go to the restroom. What's she going to do? And her mom just like watching her, and she just squats and is about to start peeing on the cement, and her mom just moves her over about a foot or two, and she just starts peeing in the grass. We're on a city bus going somewhere. It was packed, worse than shoulder to shoulder. This little girl had to go to the restroom. I couldn't even tell if it was a little girl or a little boy, and mom just held them on up and just peed on someone. Just peed right on their leg, and then right after that just threw up all over the place. It was pretty gross, but I guess that's just how they do it. The cars here, like the traffic is wild. It's asinine. Cars will drive in oncoming traffic. They'll swerve in and out of cars. Don't use blinkers. They'll get inches away from pedestrians and motorcycles. They're everywhere on the roads here. It's like there's no traffic laws. They just don't care how they drive. Oddly enough, they don't speed. Otherwise, there would be an insane number of accidents. It's really scary, and I'll post a video of that soon here. People everywhere I go here stare at me because I'm a Caucasian foreigner. They give the weirdest glances and have the blankest looks on their faces. But it's rather odd because if you say, "Ni hao," which is hello in Chinese, they get the biggest smile ever on their face. Americans are basically celebrities here. They don't see white people very often. So if you take a picture with that one Chinese person that has the guts to ask for one, next thing you know, there's a swarm of them running up to you in order to get a photograph. I took a ton of pictures. One, because I'm super friendly, and I said, "Ni hao," to so many people, and two, because I'm a 6'3" white guy, which is basically a giant in China. Just gonna go over some other stuff we did here, some background in China. The very first night we got into Beijing, we didn't waste any time. That first day we went to a dinner at this restaurant. I don't really remember the name of it. It's a very traditional style restaurant in China. They sit 10 to a table, and they have a lazy Susan in the middle of it, which just spins around. Bring dish after dish after dish. Everyone just uses their chopsticks and grabs a little bit and puts it onto their plate and eats it. And after that, we went to a Chinese acrobatic show, which was super cool. It was just at a theater there in Beijing. I met some really cool Australians and Korean people and British people. Just had a conversation with them before the show started and what it entailed, basically. The next day we went to Tiananmen Square, which is the largest public square in the world. It's basically just China saying,
"We're China. I mean, we have all this power in the world. Why not put a giant public square right in the middle of our capital city?"
And it's huge. Right after that, we walked right across the street to the Forbidden City, which is where the emperors in the Ming Dynasty lived. It's literally a city inside of Beijing, the city, and it's just huge. It took us 2 hours to walk through it. And then went to Silk Market about 5 times. I just couldn't get enough of that place. Basically what the Silk Market is, it's a knockoff market where you can buy copies, and they're like the most legit copies in the entire world. Bought a bunch of stuff there. I got some Dre beats, and they literally sound just like regular Dre beats.
Go Lukey, you're in China. We don't party because you're in China. You even got a sister that is named China, and we don't even care because you're stuck in China.
Some of these and just a whole bunch of other stuff there. A couple pairs of shoes, some clothes, and whatnot. After the Silk Market and went through all that stuff, we went to the Pearl Factory because here in China they produce a lot of pearls. Checked out how to spy the difference between a real pearl and a fake pearl. And we also went to the Jade Factory, and jade is all over the place in China. They also taught us how to spot between real and fake jade. Got to check out all these different cool sculptures. And then a really cool part was going to the Olympic Center where they held the Olympics in 2008 here in Beijing. The Bird's Nest, where they had the big stadium, and then the aquatic cube. There was some wild food over there and all that good stuff. And then we went to what they would call the Summer Palace, which was just absolutely massive. It was also in the middle of Beijing, and it had a giant lake in the middle. This is where I took the most pictures. I literally probably took 250 photographs with different Chinese people throughout us walking in there for a couple hours.
Oh my gosh, it's an American. Can we please take a picture with you, please?
We heard some music playing. So a bunch of us in the group were super curious, and we went up to this hut, and they were playing instruments and singing almost like a choir. They just were super, super friendly, and they pulled us up on stage, and I got a video of that I'm going to post up. It was a great time. Then, of course, we went to the Great Wall of China, which was about a 50-minute bus ride. It was in north of Beijing. The Emperor Mao, the guy who put communism into play in China, said that you're not a true man until you climb the Great Wall. I've climbed the Great Wall, so hey, Dad, I guess I'm a man now. The Great Wall was just epic place. You learn about it in elementary school. You see pictures of it. One of the 7 wonders of the world, man-made. And I got there, and it was just super surreal to hike up literally a mile of stairs. My legs were shaking by the time I got to the top. Once you get onto the Great Wall, you have to hike some more. And I got a bunch of pictures of that I'll post up. And then on the way down, we rode a toboggan slide to the bottom. The Great Wall is, and where all the little markets and stuff are. And that was just a riot. Had a blast on that. Oh, one more thing I almost forgot was there's what they call Walking Street in Beijing, which wasn't too far from a hostel. And it's basically like a Times Square almost type deal in Beijing. They would have a giant dance party in front of this church like every single night. It was always packed every single night. On the weekends, like every single night during the week and all the time. In case you guys didn't hear me the first 3 times, I'm going to have someone else tell you. How many nights was it?
Every single night.
And it was almost like the Chinese cha-cha slide. They would play different songs, high speed, almost like techno music, but they would do the same dance to every single song. So we went and checked that out, and one night they pulled all of us Americans up in the front where they did the dance. Everyone was cheering for us. I got a cool video of that I'll put up, and it was just a great time. after, like I said, our Beijing tour came to an end, we had to take a 12-hour train ride to Wenling, which was longer than anybody else had to. About 50 of us split up to our different cities to go teach. 12 hours to Wenling, China. It's where I'll be living for the next 4 months. It's where my kindergarten is. And it's the nicest kindergarten in the city. It's about 6 million population here in Wenling, which is just a tier 3 city in China, but I think it's pretty big. Everyone drives Audis and BMWs and Porsches and things like that, but it's just mostly a status symbol here in China. They'll spend a fortune on their cars, but they'll pinch their pennies for their living accommodations. And I got my own room, my own private quarters right here in the middle of the kindergarten. It's 4 floors high. I'll put some pictures up of it. It's a super nice place, super safe. It's gated. And I've just been doing a lot of crazy stuff here. We arrived. We went out to dinner our first night. They brought us here at a super nice restaurant. I mean, everything is just super over here. In case you didn't catch me the last 50, 100 times I said super, I just want you guys to know that everything about it over here is just super. Just absolutely super. And these last few days, we've just gone out to dinner and lunch and meeting the parents, which they can't understand us. Everyone speaks Chinese. So we just basically, Lake and I are just white faces. The school does just show us off, show that they have foreign teachers, which is kind of a perk for their kids to go here. I'll be teaching 2 classes a day, sometimes less than that. One at 10 p.m., one at 3 p.m. They last about 40 minutes. Pick different lesson plans with different ages of kindergartners. They're from age 3 to age 5. And then there's the age 2 group, which is the younger ones. I'm just super looking forward to it. I start teaching September 5th. School started today for all the children here in Wenling at the kindergarten. And I've just been making friends with all the teachers here, trying to teach them a little English, trying to understand some Chinese. I'm learning a bunch, making progress. Show you some snacks I bought, some Chinese Oreos here. Super, super delicious. And then here's a Chinese Red Bull. Pretty cool can. And it's basically it. I've just been enjoying my experience, trying to take it all in, really benefit from this. It's crazy to see how it's just a whole different world over here and how these Chinese people live, and they're just always on the go, and they're just so appreciative of everything they have, and everything here is just incredible. So thank you for checking out this video. I know it's been super long. I had a lot to cover. Wasn't able to do anything about it at the time. So just keep checking in. I'm going to try to do a journal daily on like what I've had to eat and what I did that day and what I taught, and keep pictures coming up and all that stuff. So just thank you guys, and thanks to everyone who has supported me and has been talking to me while I've been over here. It's been a help. These 4 months will fly by before you know it. Just keep checking in. Thank you so much for all the support. Talk to you guys later. See ya.